Good morning. It is a chilly morning here. Oh, that King's Cake coffee. Oh, can't say enough about that coffee. That coffee's outrageous. It's so good, that Louisiana coffee. Thanks to Genghis letting me know about that coffee. It is so good. Anyway, hope everybody's having a great Sunday morning. Oh, he's something else. He knows I'm up and about. I've been up for hours anyway, but when he comes, that's usually the sign OUT. He went on his chair. He's on his chair. He didn't come this way. Alexa, what's the temperature right now? It's chilly.
Right now, it's 52 degrees
Oh,
Fahrenheit.
52. And it feels 52. Definitely chilly. Anyway, I'm just setting up. I should close that door. Uh-oh. Rumble's not working? Yes, Rumble's working. I still can't get over I did my Christmas lights, most of them outside. That's crazy. My doctor's gonna freak out. See, I hate when it does that. Let me close some of these windows. We don't need that. We don't need this or this. That should help. I'm doing some files. What else is new? In the background. So I can tell because the camera, that cleared up some RAM. You see, when it's cold like this during the day, you think I want to be out there putting Christmas lights all over the place? Heck no. No way. It's too cold. And I need it because I have special bike gloves that are thin that I can kind of maybe use to put lights up, but I like to be able to feel putting the lights up. It's not the same. Especially when it's freezing, your fingers get numb. It's hard. It's hard to put the lights. It's not easy. So they're all done. Now, in 20 minutes, the update is coming out for this Milton storm. 20 minutes from the Hurricane Center. Right now, it's all the way down here. There is another low here, which is unbelievable. But let's see, this is the Euro model. So that low is going to retreat. The Euro has it moving now more to the east. See, this is going to disturb that storm. That's got to move away. See, it's moving away now. But there's nothing to interfere with this storm. Nothing. But it looks like they changed the model. Last night when I was looking at this, it was more to the north. So it looks like the Euro is going to go more to the south in Florida. They changed their projected path here. And it definitely doesn't look as organized either. Oh, it looks like Sarasota now. Wednesday afternoon. Oh, yeah, they changed. This was near Tampa yesterday. That's why the models change. Now it's saying more near Sarasota. It's moving fast, too. Let me back it out a little. Yeah, it looks like more Sarasota. And it's moving fast. Look where it is. See, there's another low trying to develop. This is not as organized. But let me look at the American, which I don't trust. It has it up here, which means it probably has it near Tampa. Yep, right there. The American has it near Tampa. What just happened? Oh, they just changed the model? No, there's Tampa, okay. So the American still has it right near Tampa. The Euro has it to the south a little bit. Right here. Going towards Sarasota. I mean, it's really not that far of a distance. So really from Venice to Clearwater, this thing might make landfall. Possibly. On Wednesday afternoon. Or Wednesday morning. Yeah, this thing has it going near. Looks like Wednesday evening. Now, I want to check the Hurricane Center, NOAA. I want to see what they said this morning and what they're going to say in 15 minutes. Major hurricane. But what are they saying? A major hurricane is considered a 3 or higher. When they say major, it's a 3 or higher. So that kind of is weird. Based on the models, it doesn't look like a 3. I'm not saying it won't be. This is as of 4 a.m., 5 a.m. my time. But the new one's coming out, major hurricane. See, it's saying major, but that's different. And still a hurricane as it exits the east coast of Florida. So it's still a hurricane. But this is going to change. Now, I want to see Radar Omega, what they're saying. Because the next model's coming out in about 15 minutes. This should light up. I thought so. Yeah, they're predicting still a 3. Oh, I hope that does not happen. I don't know about that. Right now it's here. It's already got wind gusts of 65. What's the pressure? 991. Let's see if it strengthens up on the next update. This was at 8 o'clock this morning. Yeah, the pressure has been dropping. That shows intensification. The millibars are going down. So we're gonna see. Excuse me. So here they're basing it on the models. And this water is 86, 87 degrees. It's fuel. That warm air is fuel for the storm. So the next update is out in 15 minutes. So I'll keep an eye on this. What are they saying? I want to see about the storm surge. They're not going to be up yet. It's not even here. Because it's all the way over here still. All the alerts will be coming out in the next few days. There's not even a hurricane watch yet, nothing. Yeah, there's nothing yet. This will probably happen tonight or tomorrow. They'll put out flash flood risk. So there's nothing yet. Maybe in the next update, there may be. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what they do in the next update. But people in Florida, near Tampa, Clearwater, Sarasota, the potential is there for a hurricane heading your way by Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Just keep that in mind, because that doesn't look good. The Euro and the American agree that there is a hurricane heading. What's up, Genghis? You know what I'm drinking, right, Genghis? Take one guess. It's actually cold in here. I'm close to making a fire. I'm cold in here. That King's Cake. I'm in love with that coffee. I really am. I'm addicted. Yeah, it is. You know what's the horrible part, though, about this? Is trying to get insurance. Because a lot of the companies fled, you know? Get the Mardi Gras coffee. Like I had my cousin on the phone. You've heard her. She's in Central Florida. She's paying over $4,000 in Central Florida for insurance, house insurance. And when these storms keep hitting Florida or the same areas, and it costs whatever it costs, the damage, that makes everybody's insurance go up throughout the state. You don't have to be living in a coastal area. Anywhere, everybody's insurance compensates, goes up. It's horrible. My cousin is freaking out because now I told her this hurricane is could literally go right over Orlando. We got to see how the path works out. This thing could go right over Orlando. If that's a Cat 3 as it enters Tampa Bay, which I forgot how long it took me to drive from my house to Tampa. I think it was almost 2 hours to the south and west. But if it's going up like that, it's going to go right over Orlando. And if it's a Cat 3, it could be a Cat 2 or Cat 1 as it hits Orlando. That's horrible. Oh, God. I know. I've seen a lot of that video from North Carolina, Asheville. Oh, my God. Horrible. But yeah, this is the last thing anybody needs is this storm. Horrible. And you know, like everything else, I'm not going to get into it. There's a lot of misinformation out there with FEMA. Congress actually allocated earlier $20 billion to FEMA. And no, that money does not go to illegal immigrants. The disaster funding does not go to illegal immigrants. There's two separate entities. You've heard that, I'm sure. That's been debunked. Bullshit. It was crazy because FEMA had to actually come out on their website about the rumors. I've never seen that before. That FEMA had to actually come out publicly and make a statement on their website even because of all the craziness. Okay, so this was one of the things. And, you know, it's been pushed. The rumor was that funding from FEMA disaster response was diverted to support international efforts on border-related issues. That's false. No money is being diverted from disaster response needs. FEMA's disaster response efforts and individual assistance is funded through the Disaster Relief Fund, which is dedicated funding for disaster efforts. Disaster Relief Fund money has not been diverted to other non-disaster related efforts. So much so that this is, you know, it's just pathetic, really. When they got to come out with something like this, with the rumors, it's just ridiculous. Because this is a big one. FEMA distributes aid based on demographic characteristics. That was a big one. And it just goes on and on. All this is Halib. They had to come out with all this shit because of all the nonsense out there. And there's the one I just read, that it's going to the illegal immigrants. False. It just goes on and on. Now, this is crazy. And that was another thing. FEMA gave $750 on day one. They're going to be giving money more. But right away, that was a big thing, too, in the public, the $750 number. Like, do you people know your facts? Do you do the research before you open your mouths and see what the hell it's about? I mean, what the heck is wrong with people? Especially in a horrible situation like this, that people politicize it and make it into something else. That's horrible. People are suffering. And then they get caught up in this nonsense? I cannot believe, I've never seen FEMA have to actually come out and make a statement on all the rumors. That's like the first time I've ever seen that. I guess those are the times we live in. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Giovanni? But right now, those people are suffering. And it's hard to reach these areas. And there's a lot of rumors about that. The helicopter access and the amount of... I couldn't believe, like, they've been involved from day one. Every governor that's been affected has said they've been getting everything they need. But if you listen to some people, oh, they're not getting enough. They need more help. What? Every governor made a statement saying that the federal assistance has been amazing. But I'm not going to get into that. It's crazy. It's insane. When somebody goes out there and just flat out lies, and then lies after that person knows the facts and still lies. They didn't say that. Oh my God. Oh shit. Let me see. I won't even get into it. Because I don't want to spin into this. Anyway, let's concentrate on the next update, which should be out now. Or any minute. Is it out? Nope, not yet. Should be out any minute. 5 minutes. I'm just reading. I mean, just to put a little bit more insight on it, this is something that came from Republican governors. Various Republican governors in the southeastern states hit by Hurricane Helene have praised the Biden administration's response, sometimes naming Biden in particular. Republican South Carolina governor said that assistance has been superb, that they've been in contact from the get-go, and they told them to let them know whatever the state needed. So we're getting assistance, and we're asking for everything we need. The Republican Virginia governor said, and that's Youngkin, of all people, I'm incredibly appreciative of the rapid response and the cooperation from the federal team at FEMA. The Tennessee government, Bill Lee, same thing. I know the Georgia one did too. Praise in North Carolina. So what the hell are people talking about? And it was false. False from the get-go. False. Absolutely false. There was even AI faked stuff put out there that put people's lives at risk too. A lot of memes. Fake memes of people that were stranded, and they sent people out there to see if they were there, and there was nobody there, wasting valuable time and resources to go on a witch hunt based on bullshit. That's scary. You're putting people's lives at risk. And that was out there. Fake memes, because that's the time we live in. Hurricane Helene. I was like, what the hell's wrong with people? I mean, the deep fakes on social media. And they hurt people. Because they're wasting valuable resources to go witch hunting on these crazy things that people, these doctored or fake visuals can complicate disaster response efforts, creating false narratives and, above all, harm public trust. This is horrible that you would do this in a situation, catastrophic situation like this, and you have idiots out there doing stuff like this. and put this one, this image. It's AI generated. That's an AI generated photo. Horrible. They should be, that is so disgusting. It makes me, ugh. Horrible. And that's just one example. They were going nuts. Nuts. So much that I think it was, I forgot who it was, someone in North Carolina. A Republican came out with a statement, said, stop it. Just stop it. You're putting people at harm. Stop it. But that's the kind of stuff that goes on. Let me see if the new one's out. Okay, it's out. Let's see. Really no big change. They still haven't put any of surge, so it's too early because it's way out here. They're still saying. Oh, there it is. Hurricane watches could be issued as early as late today for portions of Florida. I thought so. It could be at or near major hurricane strength, so a strong Cat 2 or a Cat 3 as it moves in. It'll start affecting the west coast of Florida beginning late Tuesday or Wednesday. Heavy rainfall ahead of it. So there you go. And I want to see if they updated it on Radar Omega because I want to see the pressure. I don't think they did. That's the last one still. Yep, they haven't updated it here. Nope. I want to see that pressure. I don't think the NOAA one had it. Sustained winds, 65. I don't see the pressure. The millibars. So yeah, they're still saying major hurricane. And look at this. Even as it's here now, they just moved that out a little bit. It's still a hurricane out here. So this thing will be a hurricane as it crosses the entire peninsula of Florida. That's insane. So people need to really, really prepare here. I want to look at the satellite imagery. I want to see what the storm looks like. Oh yeah, it definitely intensified from last night. It's getting more organized. That's Radar Omega making that noise. Yeah, look at that intensification right in the middle. It's blowing up. There's some dry air here. It definitely looks like there's a system here too. But this is too far away to influence this. And that's that cold front that we're experiencing here. Look how clear it is up here. This cooler air coming down, pushing down from Canada. See, there's a front, so that storm cannot come up because of this. These fronts, which is a system in Canada. So that's not going to allow the system. It's being pushed. And there's more coming. So that's why the system is ahead of the front. So it can't come up. So it has nowhere to go but east. That's scary. Let me look at Omega. There's a low. These fronts keep coming in. Look at these fronts. They just keep dropping. That's why it's going to push out to sea. Thank God these fronts are coming for us up here, because that would have been not good. And you see these highs? Highs are clockwise. So the wind is coming out. It's pushing it. It can't go up because the high pressure is clockwise. It won't allow it to come up. I'm surprised they didn't update it yet. This is the old one. Oh, that is new. There it is. The pressure has not changed. It's still at 991. And it's moving east-southeast. Now the temperatures here are really warm in the water. Really warm. Which is not good. Let me see if I could find it. I had it yesterday. I can't believe it. Home. Okay, yeah, that's how I did it. Tampa. Tampa Bay. So this is the water near Tampa Bay, the temperature. 85. 84.7. 85 degrees. That water is warm. The water will feel unpleasantly warm, stifling, maybe a little too warm for any kind of activity. So why I put this up is because it shows you how warm that water is. Oh my God, in St. Petersburg, it's 85.3. So these are the things. That Gulf water is still quite warm. It's fuel. It's fuel for these storms. That's why they're looking at major intensification. I had a cool one yesterday. I think it might be this one. Yeah, it is this one. Check this out. This is pretty good. Remember, it's all about the science. So watch this. Look at the temperatures in the Gulf. Right where the storm is right now, 88 degrees. 88 degrees. That's crazy. 87. This is all warm water. 87. Let's see, Tampa. 86. 87. So this water is very warm, which is what a hurricane needs to fuel. And that's why they're expecting rapid intensification as it drifts this way. Because the water, and yes, warm water key to hurricane development. Warm ocean waters and the thunderstorms that develop around it. So that pretty much tells you right off the bat. See, water at least 26.5 degrees Celsius over a depth of 50 meters powers the storm. So it's surface water temperature. And that's it right there. It's the warm water. And it's got plenty of it. Then there's other things that play, wind shear, convergence of wind. There's all kinds of, but warm ocean water holds the key to the most powerful storms nature can throw our way. And that's basically it. That's why they think this could be a major hurricane. Look at this. The hot water that Katrina traversed in the eastern Gulf was the key to its sudden and devastating intensification, and was the classic example of why meteorologists get nervous when a storm is about to encounter seas warm enough to bathe in. And that's the problem. The water's 85, 86, 87. That's ridiculous. Storms feed on that. It creates the moisture. And that's the thing, the lower air pressure. See, they weaken when they encounter cooler waters. So, this is not good. In any kind of perspective here, it's not good. That's why the storm is expected to become powerful like that. Now, I would counter this with this. Why can't they put something in the eye of the storm, like dry air, to eliminate that development? I don't think it would be unsafe to the environment. What if you released extreme cold and exposed the eye to that cold? Drop it from a plane. Put extremely cold and reuse it all the time to send ships up into space. That could help. That would be that would be weather modification. Why can't they do that? To dry air. They should be experimenting on this kind of stuff. I would think, right? At least I would try. If there was a strong storm and you want to diminish its strength before it enters land areas, masses. Now, this is all hypothetical. Why can't they do something like that? Not a space-based weapon that's creating these storms to hit certain areas. Let's get away from that. But something to weaken these storms scientifically. And I don't understand why they wouldn't do more research on that. I'm going to look it up. I don't even know if there's such a thing. There goes my Not ice. You can't bomb it with ice. And somebody says another idea is nuking a hurricane. Oh, that sounds brilliant. Oh my God. Crushed dry ice. 180-pound payload of crushed. What's 180 pounds of dried ice going to do? Are you serious? That's all? Just 180 pounds? You only tried 180 pounds. And it happened so many years ago. So they say. A cloud buster. There's so many weird theories here. So here's an interesting thing, what scientists have been trying to do over the years. Like they tried to seed it. This is a historical reference. An official U.S. government effort to experiment on hurricanes began in 1947 with Project Cirrus. Oh no, we don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. Project Cirrus. One aspect of this early weather modification project was the first attempt at altering hurricanes using the emergent science of cloud seeding. But in 1947, it first tried it on a hurricane. The pilots flew over the hurricane that was headed out to sea and dropped a 180-pound payload of crushed dry ice into the storm in an attempt to alter the temperatures of the hurricane clouds, which in theory would slow down the storm's wind speed. Initially, the pilots did notice some change, but it was not actually clear if the changes they observed were caused by the ice. Well, it's only 180 pounds. Why didn't you try more than that? That's nothing. 180 pounds? Like, really? After the hurricane had been seeded, it took a directional turn, making landfall in Georgia and doing extensive damage. They wanted to sue the government for seeding it. In 1962, they tried it again, another cloud seeding initiative called Project Storm Fury. This project set out to disrupt hurricanes by seeding the walls of the hurricane's eye with silver iodide, a compound that has a molecular structure similar to ice. The intended effort was the same, but the science was more advanced. They tried it on this hurricane in '63, which never made landfall. The winds did appear to drop, but ultimately it was too difficult to tell whether the giant storm was affected by the chemical sprinkle. And then they go on about Project Storm Fury. And here's one. A Canadian documentary came out in 2007 with more ideas. That's not going to work. That would take too long. C, liquid nitrogen. Now, here's probably what other people are queuing in on. Still, others have hypothesized that satellite-based microwave lasers might be able to alter the course of hurricanes, or that supersonic jets could be flown through them to create a countercurrent. So I'm sure that's part of a lot of stuff that's going on too. Right there. A satellite-based microwave lasers might be able to alter the course of hurricanes. So I'm sure that has some bearing on what people are saying today. Right there. But to only try 180 pounds worth of dry ice, what the hell is 180 pounds? That wouldn't even cool my pool down in the summer, let alone a hurricane. Yeah, it would. 180 pounds? You stopped at 180? Why didn't you drop 5 tons? 180 pounds? Like you're supposed to get some kind of reaction from 180 pounds of crushed dry ice? I don't think so. That's not enough for a big hurricane eye. The eye wall. Are you kidding me? That's BS. Now, I don't believe that at all. That is the biggest BS I've ever seen. I mean, come on. They can do better than that. I would say, like, what's the coldest elements that we have that we can combust inside the eye? Or not even in the eye. You could pinpoint certain parts of the eye wall. Or even with the wind side, the flow, the inflow. Hit that shit with dry air. The hurricane the last one, Helene, it did wobble, like I said, but then it came back. But there was dry air that was coming in and weakened it for a while, where it wobbled and then it reformed its eye. Dry air is the key. Dry air, cold air will weaken the system. So why aren't there people out there focusing on that? I honestly think it could be done. Instead of pouring billions of dollars on other stuff, well, why don't we invest on this? Because look at the damage and death and destruction that these storms do. Spend $50 billion on this project, because that $50 billion you're going to save every time a hurricane hits. I'm just saying. I'm just using a number. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, I got an ad blocker. I'm trying to see. It's in a drum. There's testing. It was done in the lab. Call its molecules, but they have tested it in a lab. I'm looking at different things here. Holy shit. Check this out. So scientists did this in a lab. They created the oddball molecule, a strange configuration of sodium potassium with an ultra-long chemical bond. It was just 134 billionth of a degree above absolute zero. It's hard to capture it though. So in a lab, it looks like they're trying to develop. But what if we created something ultra cold, not liquid, to put in the hurricane without endangering the environment, of course? So there has to be. Dave keeps talking about this. I don't know if liquid helium would do it. I mean, let me look. Not liquid. The stuff I'm looking at is ridiculous. It can be a combination of. It's even used in cryogenics. Helium might be part of the solution. But I'm not getting enough information. See, we know the liquid is one thing. And very little helium is present in Earth's atmosphere. It is such a light element that Earth's gravity cannot hold it. Helium immediately begins rising until it escapes the planet. I wonder if Helium has the lowest melting and boiling point of any gas. It melts and boils at temperatures close to absolute zero. But it remains a gas at very low temperatures. So there you go. There's the key. It remains a gas at very low temperatures. Now, if it rises, why couldn't you well, it would be crazy, but if you were to put, because you can't go from the top, you would have to drop it into the eye and then implode it because it's going to rise because it's light. Why don't you try helium? It's not going to do any damage to the atmosphere because it's going to eventually escape out of Earth's atmosphere. Helium looks like it might be a way. I mean, I'm looking at it. I don't know why they haven't tried helium. Because it remains a gas at very low temperatures. It can be used as purging gas for fuel tanks and fuel delivery systems that are filled with very cold liquids. Like you would see that with SpaceX, blah, 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 blah. Because it has a low freezing temperature, it can displace these fuels safely without freezing. Larger amounts of heliums are used by NASA and the Department of Defense for purging rocket propulsion systems. That's what I was referring to. So why can't we use helium? A non-renewable. I mean, why not? Let me see something. Can helium be used for hurricanes? I'm curious if anybody's even they figured out how to figure out a way to create a category 5. No. See what's going to want me to subscribe. I don't want to. Fuck. The world is constantly running out of helium. I mean, of course, it's always down to funding. Feeding cold water to the hot storms to slow their momentum. A fleet of wave-powered rafts to spread a slicker. That is insane. Exactly. You would have to place them in the right place. Okay, now if they came up with a plan to bring the colder water from a depth, but the Gulf is not that deep. It's pretty shallow. The U.S. Navy plans to deploy a prototype device that extracts energy from the temperature difference between surface and deep water. Because deep water is colder, the device would involve pumping cool water to the ocean surface in much the same manner as it would require to stop a typhoon. Good luck with that. Oh my God. You gotta wonder sometimes what they're doing. Bill Gates' idea is insane. It's not practical. Sending a fleet out there to bring. Oh my God. Dropping a prototype into the water to bring the cold water and pump it up to the surface. Good luck with that. There's got to be a better way than that. Oh, what's up, Chaos? I didn't see. I wasn't looking at chat. Exactly, Genghis. Yeah, how ridiculous that is, dropping 100 pounds. I'm less than 180 now. It would be like dropping a piece of dry ice like me into a hurricane. What the hell is that gonna do? Like, just imagine me being dropped in the eye and I'm dry ice. Like, that's gonna make a significant difference to the hurricane. Are you kidding me? That's like me taking a garden hose of cold water and putting it in my pool that's 83 degrees. What's it gonna do? Nothing. Zero. Hi, Candace. Nothing. I mean, what is wrong? Now, if they were to drop dry ice, crushed dry ice, around the perimeter of the storm, keep dropping it, boom, 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 keep dropping big pockets of dry ice, maybe we got something then. But just to drop one piece and give up? Are you kidding me? You're going to just give up because... How stupid is that? How stupid is that? Okay, use 180 pounds. That was years, decades ago. So they say. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's the best you can do? You invested in the cost of sending out a plane and dropping 180 pounds of dry ice. That's the best you can do. What about even this? Because there's a lot of liquid form elements that are extremely cold, but you disperse it where it's like a mist into these clouds. It's like cloud seeding. You lower the temperatures down in the storm itself, because that's the key, lowering the temperature down in a storm. Because that's how it feeds, off the warm water. You either hit it with dry air or very cold, and you will minimize these storms, in theory. What the hell? Like right now, that storm is in the Gulf. I wouldn't experiment on something that's coming in, but if you look at the map, there's hurricanes in the Atlantic right now, just sitting in the middle of the Atlantic. You can't test on those? Oh, because it's too far to fly out to them? That's why you have refuelers? Or ships at sea to launch from? Because there's so many different ways to look at things, not just from one side, like all of it. It's ridiculous. I mean, look at this storm in the Atlantic right now. This is a hurricane. Look at this. It could be subtropical now because it's going into colder water. But look at that. You're telling me we can't experiment on something like that? Or something like that? The Pacific looks kind of quiet. I would doubt that's quiet in Asia. Oh, it is. Look at that. Pretty quiet. But I mean, come on now. No, we're going to wait for this one to develop and hit Florida as a Cat 2, 3. No, that's what we're going to wait for. We're just going to allow this to cause who knows what kind of damage that this thing may cause in Florida. Instead of doing what we should be doing, there has to be a way. There has to be a way. Thank God this one's going to curve up. It's not because it's being blocked. The wind currents are going to take it right up and then out. If it even lasts that long, it's going to get shredded. Yeah, it's going to get shredded. Goodbye. There's too much shit going on. It got shredded. Look at that low up there. Oh my God. Way up. Look at the size of that. That's massive. Look at the system coming into the Pacific area, into Canada. Washington. That's a nasty looking system coming in. Wow. It just disappeared. But I mean, really? You think we should blow up the moon? There goes our tides. Oh my God, Jade. What's up, Fantasy? No Northern Lights. Yeah, there was an X-flare. I went to bed kind of early last night. I can't stay up late no more. It's not. I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Our air quality is horrific right now. Well, let me see about rain in California. That's a little way down here. There's a lot of offshore shit. There's a little system here. I don't know if that's going to make it up to California. A lot of this moisture is offshore. There's a high pressure. That's the killer. There's a high pressure right there. That's a high. There's a little moisture coming into Washington, but in California, not so good. Because this high. Oh my God, look at the temperatures. 97 in Vegas. Not so bad. 82 in LA Thursday. See, that's night. That's morning. So you gotta watch the times. 2 p.m. Yeah, it's 84 and it's cooling down, it seems. Now there's a little moisture there by the end of the week. But there's so much shit. Look at this, is a week high here. It could bring showers in. A lot of it's offshore though. See, the greens indicate moisture. This shit is dry. A lot of it's just offshore. Coastal areas, maybe. Inland, not so much. It's very dry. Arizona's gonna have a little. Yeah, that's not good. Look at this high pressure. That's big. Well, you can't see it because I'm not sharing the screen, but I'm looking at it. Doesn't look good. I don't see much moisture coming in to California at all. There's a little disturbance offshore, but basically the state is dry. That blue is dry. That is dry. Showers are possible. That is a dry pattern. I'm curious what they're saying for California. Let me see. L A. Oh, that might not come out like that. I just did it wrong. Look at that. Look how dry in LA. I could see it on the model. I don't see no rain. Nothing. All right, fantasy. Have a great one. 102? Wow. But this is just LA. There's no rain in that forecast. Nada. Here it's getting cold. It's going to chill out. This morning it was 50. It might have been less than that. When I woke up, it was 50. Let's look. Poughkeepsie weather. I don't think there's any other Poughkeepsie. See how the temperatures are trending down. Today's going to be 72, but it's trending downward. Look at this. 43 at night, 45, 42, 40. But then there's a slight warm up for one day and then back. So it's starting to become more seasonable here. The normal temperature for here is in the mid 60s during the day. Let me see. I think Poughkeepsie October weather. I believe the average is like 63. Don't quote me on it, but I'm going to look. Okay, let's look. I'm good with the weather. Okay, October's in transit. I ride my bike right through there. Appreciable dip in the temperatures, highs 61 and 45. It moves from a warm 73, 74 really in September to a refreshing 61 in October. So we're above normal. That's what that says right now. We've been above normal. That's monthly. So today it's 74, 71, still above normal, right about normal, then back up, 78 on freaking Saturday. That's 16 degrees above normal. This is the crazy. This is the pattern. It's been so warm. Let me see September. The leaves aren't really even turning. Look at this, 70s, 70s. It's into the end of, even into the end of September. We're in the mid to upper 70s. This shit is cray-cray. Indian summer is extended here now. It's not like it used to be. It's just warmer into mid-October now. That's why the leaves don't fall like they used to. Just fact. I mean, I'm going to look. Look at the front of my house. Look at this. It's October 6th. I still got flowers budding. That's crazy. This is not normal. The leaves aren't really even turning yet. It's a beautiful day. The leaves aren't even turning yet. It's already October 6th. Everything's still green. And yes, there are flowers right here. Right there. Still coming out. I'm like, what is going on? The roses are still giving me flowers. Roses, summer plants are still blooming. What is going on? Now you see these? Poison ivy and poison sumac trees will turn sooner than the regular trees. So when you see this discoloration in here, that's on the other side of the fence. He's got poison sumac trees. The poison ivy also turns sooner too. So that's some of this stuff you're seeing. But this is green. The trees are still green, lush. October 6th. What is up with that? My lawn looks like a summer lawn. So this is not normal. I still got flowers blooming over here. And I got all the Christmas lights up, but still, this is crazy. But it's starting to get cold at night, so it really has no choice but to start turning because of the colder temperatures at night. It's got to turn. Now the willows also, willow trees will turn. See, these are willows. They'll turn sooner. But it's still green as crazy out there. So these leaves will not fall until November, which is not the way it used to be. I gotta cover my smoker. It's done. Smoker's done. No more. I gotta cover it. I gotta cover the table. I gotta cover the tiki. But since it's so warm, I don't really care to do it yet. The temperatures have to start dropping. Just saying. That's just the reality. I have to go soon too because I got to do a recording. But the overall weather pattern, I'm curious. I want to see what it was. I'm curious now. Let's look at the temperatures 10 years ago in October. I can do that. Weather in January. Let's go 2014 October. Let's go to 2013. Look at this. The numbers don't lie. I'm going to go all the way back. Shit, October 4th, 2014. I'm hearing some weird noises. That's my stomach. I didn't eat yet. So this was 10 years ago. There was some 70s. 64, 68, 73, 64, 61, 70, 73. So it's not that different that I'm looking at it, to be honest. Let's go to 2015. '59, '52, '50, '60, '64. There was 170. There's another 70. But more or less, 50s, 40s. It's cooler by average. If you were to average it out. And there was some peaks. And then it just drops. There's another little warm spell. Let's check more recent though. Let's go to 2023. Oh, should I hit September? See, there's still some really hot days last year, but then it drops. Oh no, that's the end of the month. Oh my God, it was in the near 80 at the end of October last year. That's sick. See, look at this. A year ago, look at this. 75, 77, 81, 82, 75. The trend is warmer. That's crazy. So again, how you do the weather, you average it out. The highs and whatever the numbers are, and then you average it out. I guarantee that average is above normal. If you add up all those numbers, come up with the average, we've been above normal. Forget about our winters. We don't have snow here anymore. It doesn't even snow here hardly anymore. I mean, the last few New Year's, it's been in the 50s. I'm like, New Year's Eve? New Year's Day? 50s? January? Are you kidding me? It should be 37. And it's been warm. I don't even have to drain the oil from my snowblower. It's new. I didn't hardly use it last year. It's nuts. Let me see. Let me go here. Okay, let's go back. We are really, really overdue for a bad winter here. Way overdue. This was 2023. On New Year's Day, it hit 48. The day after, 54. There's no snow here. 43, 61, 48, 46, 43. That's above normal. Let me check this past year. We have to go all the way back. Okay, it was a little chillier this past year, but right about normal. That's about normal. Let me check 2022. See how many bumps up high? Look at that. 52. 48. The normal high for here in January is 37. Now, if we go back 10 years, you'll see the big difference. This is when I remember how weather was here, even 10 years ago. The high 30, 19, no, 21, 16, 23, 34. Oh, we have one high one, 12. We don't see those numbers anymore. We don't see those numbers anymore. Yeah, you're always going to have a fluke warm day. But look at these temperatures. The high, 12, 21, 30, 32, 34. That's January. That's the way it's supposed to be. Hasn't been like that. This is 10 years ago. I'll never forget the snowstorm that we had February 2014 on Valentine's Day, or near Valentine's Day. I remember it. We got buried right there. This is where we got buried, right here with this snow. Over 2 feet. I haven't seen that since. Right there. That's how long it's been. Last year, we had snow, but then it warmed up the next day. That was all melted. It fell as snow at night, but then it warmed up the day. Now, how you do measurable snow is after a storm is done, then you measure. There was nothing to measure after the storm was done because it turned to rain and it was too warm and there was no snow out there. So there's nothing measurable to measure. Yeah, it could snow. Might get a few inches at night, but then in the morning it turns to rain, and then in the daytime it's warm. There's nothing to measure because it's gone. That's how you do it. You have to wait till the storm is done. Not when the storm starts and measure it. Oh shit, we got 4 inches. You wake up, it's gone. What happened? Where'd it go? So yeah, the weather has been changing up here. People say, oh, I can't live up there with all that snow. What snow? Show me the snow. Our plants are blooming earlier now. The ground is warmer because that's the trigger for the soil temperature. What are you talking about? It's funny how people, when they don't know what's actually going on and they talk, I can't go up north, it's too cold. No, it's not. It's not like it used to be. At least not in recent years. Maybe this year will be a fluke and it'll be freezing and we'll get a lot of snow. I don't know. Got to look at the weather patterns. But really? Really? Live here. Find out. You'll see. Because it's bullshit. Plain English. BS. Now, if you live where Michael is, in the Berkshires, in a higher elevation, of course it'll be snowing. It's colder. It's higher elevation. It should be snowing. It's common sense. It's colder, higher elevation. Catskills, they get snow. Where I was bike riding, Kingston, they'll get snow. We won't, but they will because they're higher. So it's just, when I hear people talking, it's like, oh my God, stop. Just full stop. Really, full stop. I should have the clip. Because I always take my, here we go. 2014, February 14th, Valentine's Day. This is what it looked like. I'll never forget it. Because that's what it looked like 10 years ago. This is what it used to look like 10 years ago. It hasn't happened in 10 years. This kind of a look. This, my mom was helping the neighbor. This is what I'm talking about. There's mom with the neighbor. Mountains of snow. Mountains. This is what winter looked like up here 10 years ago. Look at that. I haven't seen that in 10 years. So it's not El Nino, La Nina, all this bullshit. It's just warmer. We don't see this. Now we get slush. Over 2 feet of snow fell. Buried. Look at the front of the house. You could tell the house looks so different now. Buried. It was insane. My neighbor. Look at that snow up to the top of the fence. Halfway on the other one, that's about, those piles, 4 feet. At least 3. So, yeah, that's what it used to be like. I haven't seen that in 10 years. I used my snowblower 3 times last year, this past winter, to remove slush. We did get one storm that gave us like 12, 14 inches. It was gone in 3 days because it warmed up. It melted away. Usually our snow, when we get it, it's a snowpack. It lasts till April. there'll still be snow on the ground beginning of April. Not anymore. Which allows the ground to warm up quicker. Plants bloom sooner. Because the soil, the temperature is warmer and exposed to the sun. Warms it up. So everything comes earlier. And the weather pattern, because I look at this stuff and I've been looking at it for over a decade here. So it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about because I study it. Now, right now, there's no pattern to show it, but I can kind of describe it. Let me see if there's a system. There's a lot of low pressures in the Atlantic, a lot. Once the hurricane season diminishes, November, the pattern will change. But right now, there's so many systems out in the Atlantic, it's out of control. Okay, here's a kind of. So what was happening, and I've said it so many times, a high pressure, which is clockwise, there's nothing here right now, would sit right about here, and it wouldn't move. It would just stay in this general spot, a high pressure, pulling up that warmer air up toward us. So it's feeding that warmer air from the south just enough to make this warmer temperatures. And the storms were coming down, like they should, from Canada, the jet stream, bringing it near Texas and then bending up, but to the west of us and out. A lot of the storms were going in the Ohio Valley. But since we're on this side, we're on the warm side of a low. So if a low is here, in Buffalo, Buffalo's lakes never froze. That's why the lake, my friend Chris says, Bill, what's going on? We're getting all this snow lake effect in Buffalo. They're saying it's more than anything in years. Well, that's because your lakes aren't freezing. The lakes need to have a coating of ice on it so it doesn't get that warm air from the lakes, because that's the lake machine monster that creates the lake effect snows. If that lake doesn't freeze, you're going to keep getting snow. So the lows would go up in here and then out. So a low is counterclockwise. So it's pulling up the warmer air up toward us on the warm side. So we wouldn't get that snow. The snow is on the left side. As the wind is being dragged down from up north, the colder air comes down. They're getting the snow on this side. We're getting the rain on this side. And then we always have to watch for the nor'easters that come up. That's how we got that one storm. We did have a nor'easter. It came up the coast, but how that works, same thing. If there's a storm sitting right here off of Long Island, let's just say a low is here. Well, look at it. Which way is the wind going to be coming from? If it's wrapping around, it's dragging the colder air down. So if the storm is up here, the low, it's going to drag that colder air from down north to here where it snows. But if we're on the warm side, it rains. It's simple. It's not complicated. And it's all about that jet stream. So in November, December, I'm going to be paying attention to see how this all sets up. The pattern. Will there be a high sitting off of here like it did all the last few winters and bringing up the warmer air and the jet stream dipping all the way down toward Texas Panhandle and then bending sharply back up and then out? Well, that's the pattern. Because usually the jet stream would come, of course, down, but it would bend toward the mid-Atlantic. It would come out. We're on the colder side. The warmer side is down here. So this is key, the jet stream. That's why when people say, oh, but it's snowing in South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, it's supposed to. The cold air it's coming down from Canada, from it's the North Pole. It's coming from down here. You're supposed to get that colder air coming in here and you get that snow. You're in the snow belt. It's supposed to. If this shit changes, we got problems. But the jet comes right through Canada, comes down, drops into the midsection of the United States. It makes a bend somewhere, and then it goes either here or there. But the jet goes from west to east. Where it sets up is what's important. And that's why Texas, especially here, Amarillo, up here, they've been getting snow. Now, does it stick around long? Probably not. Because the jet is bringing that cold air as far south as here. And you could have a snowstorm here and severe storms down here. They're on the warm side. They're getting that Gulf moisture coming up in a low. Remember, if a low's counterclockwise, say a low is here. Colder air is being dragged downward toward the panhandle here, or really northern Texas. The cold air is here. But at the same time, with that circulation, it's bringing up that warm Gulf moisture in here. That's why they've been getting a lot of stormy weather in the winter months. Louisiana, in here, because they're on the warm side, and the Gulf Stream is feeding it, these storms that come up here. So that's what it's about. It's all about that jet. And that's what I'll be watching for my weather. Because everything has to set up a certain way, the weather pattern. But it's been stubborn. I couldn't believe how long that high pressure stayed offshore for the last few years in the Atlantic, spinning. Big high pressure, just spinning. It would move a little this way, that way, but it was generally staying right there in the Atlantic. I'm like, what the hell? It's not even moving, pretty much. And like I said, it brings that warmer air from down south to here. Now, I'm not complaining because we don't get that much snow anymore, but it's a big change. And Texas better start preparing more. Those southern states better prepare it more with this weather pattern shift for the extreme weather, the cold weather. Let me see if they even mention it. They might. I gotta go in a few minutes. Okay. This is from a Texas paper. See, this is from this year. This is from January of this year. It's not like they're getting big blizzards, but this is Dallas-Fort Worth. Thanks to lake effect, snow areas near several North Texas lakes saw higher amounts. But it's because of the Arctic blast. See, they just got a coating, an inch, but still it's snow. I'm trying to see if they say it. Where does it come from? Frigid amounts, yes, but where's it coming from? We know about that's lake effect like we get here. Oh, they're not even Arctic blast. So it's coming from the jet stream up north. Even after the snow, Arctic air remains in northern Texas. An Arctic blast has arrived. And it's not like they're getting a lot. It's the point that it's snowing in Texas. And that's because of the jet stream. Because it's dipping so far south that it's bringing that cold air down from Canada. That's the key that I'm trying to explain. They're saying here it's a rare event. It's not as common, and it can cause serious impacts. And here it says heavy snow is somewhat of a rare event. But Texas needs to concentrate on their infrastructure. They better, because the way the pattern is shifting for Texas extreme cold. I'm sure they are. They have to be. Texas cities debate costly infrastructure investments in the age of extreme weather. Experts say local governments should prioritize extreme weather preparedness. Cost could be a deterring factor, of course. See, their infrastructure needs to be, when their grid collapsed in 2021, ice storms. See, much of Texas's infrastructure was not built to sustain such extreme cold weather. And local governments historically have not prepared for winter weather, in large part due to costs. However, Express this week said what happened in Texas is fresh evidence that cities and states across the U.S. must rethink how they prepare for all sorts of weather-related emergencies. So that's what I'm saying. People don't realize it. And yeah, it costs a lot of money, of course, to update the infrastructure. But this pattern has been going on now for the last few years. I don't know if people in Texas realize this, but the pattern is shifting. Let's see what happens this winter. But all I know is that jet stream is coming far down south. Then it's bending. It's bringing a lot of that cold air to the south. And they better start preparing their infrastructure for more of this, or they're going to be in trouble. There's so many things going on. But that's just an example. And I've been talking about this for really years. Nobody pays attention, but I'll keep talking about it until I pass away. But that's just the facts. The weather pattern is changing. And people, it boggles my mind when people are in denial. I don't care, and I've said this so many times, I don't care if you want to blame it on the planet going through its cycles, or people on the other side saying it's part of the CO2 emissions. I don't care what your explanation is or your opinion is of what you think is the cause of it. That's not necessarily what's important here. The important thing is it's happening. The weather is getting more extreme. The weather patterns are shifting. They're changing. And they're becoming more intense with the heat in the southwest, with the hurricanes coming over the Atlantic because of the above normal ocean temperatures. Like this storm that might hit, God willing, it won't be as strong as they say, that's going to hit Florida. The Gulf water is 86, 87 degrees. That's fuel. We should look at the temperatures. I don't have time. We should look at the temperatures going through the years of the Gulf on average. Data matters, science matters, not opinion and agenda, political, this. Because I know some really smart people that are totally in denial of the climate change. They're in total denial because it doesn't fit their narrative based on political. Because that has a lot to do with it. That's just a fact. So, meanwhile, it's like, it's just mind-boggling to me. It's like logic and common sense and people, like science, data matters. I don't understand when we're going to address it until it's too late. And yes, you could say United States is doing their part, but what about China? And what about, if we're doing our part, but they're not, what's the sense? Because it has to be a global effort. But when you say global effort, it's the New World Order. Like I downloaded, because that was a big thing, the UN's new thing about, because they had to say global new order in it, and that freaked everybody out because they love that phrase. It's just another thing for them to pick on. But it's not about that. It's about helping third world nations, nations that are suffering from drought and starvation and famine and everything else. And how can we help them become, because their dependency on us. It's a complicated thing. People look at things sometimes too simplistically without really breaking it down. And it's really annoying. But I download, see, I get the information and I download them and I read through it. I don't pick things out of context. But this was it. This is the General Assembly's Pact for the Future, but it has in there the wording that freaked everybody out. But if you break it down and what the agenda is to help those living in poverty and vulnerable situations, the actions we take today, because their dependency on us to bail them out, to try to establish them to develop themselves where they can be self-sustaining and do what it is to help them. But see, climate change, you see this, people freak out. They take it out of context and they spin it like, oh, it's the global new world order. Here it is. But if you actually read it and what their planning is to help these countries. But I mean, if I picked out one thing out of context and put it out there, of course people are going to freak out. Eradication of poverty. And if you really take the time to look at this stuff and go through it, maybe, and don't take it out of context like everything else is done today, and you read the damn thing, maybe that'll help if you read the thing. But that doesn't happen these days. People see what they see, whoever's putting out whatever they put out, and they read that one thing taken out of context and they go with it. But they don't have the PDF. They don't read through it. They just see what they see. And that fear-mongering, the weaponization of fear. And it's all political. Most of it is all politically driven. of course. But it's also scaring people. Fear is a powerful weapon. It's the weaponization of fear. And believe me, I've got a lot of stuff like that because it's good to have the documentation. So when people talk about it, well, guess what? I have it. And I do that a lot when I see something is released. So people don't do that. They don't take it out of context because you know they will. Well, I download it. Just so I know I have it. Because I know people are going to take it way out. Way out. Like even this one. And this is from NASA, which people slam it, you know. It's funny how just because of certain narratives, how things change. Now you're now considered my enemy because you came out with this. You know, you see this, and this is data. This is science. This is not opinion. This is science. And I always, like I said, I keep an eye on this stuff because shit matters. I mean, again, data matters. And you can be in denial of it, and you can argue it. But when you do the data searching, and like I said, that's just, I can go on and on with all the different stuff. And then people will take even something like this, because it's amazing how real communist countries, real authoritarians, real dictatorships attack the fabrics that make up a foundation of a country. The press, the foundations within it, that whole deep state thing, you're attacking the fabrics that make up the institutions of government. That's what dictators do. That's what authoritarians do. They put this seed out there and people. But that's how it begins. You destroy the foundations of a democracy. I don't understand how people don't realize that. And they go with it and they feed into it. And they don't realize, I don't understand how they don't realize the damage they're doing to our own country by doing this. Because even like something like this that I downloaded, and you go through it, and you see, and you read through it, and you go through it. Whether you agree or disagree and argue some of the stuff, well, this is the PDF, the Homeland Assessment. But see, something like this, people say, oh, that's from the Biden administration. This is something they're going to put out there for their agenda. You know, it's spun. And it's really frustrating to try to get real actual data coming from government sources because you know they're going to say that. Of course. Because they have nothing else they can say too. That's a defense mechanism. It's a blame. Or It's simply to divert attention. And like I said, I know a lot of people I have high respect for, and I don't know how they're drawn into some of this nonsense. I just don't. And, all I can do is the SMH, shake my head. What can I do? Everybody has the right to their opinion, and I respect it. But I'm telling you, some of this stuff is just so outrageous. You can't even go, God forbid you should go to the FBI site and pull some information there because, again, the FBI, they're corrupt. They're all deep state. I mean, this was released. This is an old one, so I'm not going to put this up. But I have so many references. Oh no, what's Mark want? What's going on? We're going to be recording soon. I'm still streaming. Can you hear me?
Okay. I was just gonna. It's a recording, right?
Yes.
Okay. I may be 10 minutes late.
All right, so I'll let Toby know.
I may be. I mean, I may be in there on time, but I may be 10 minutes late. It depends how much traffic there is getting home.
Oh shit! I thought you'd be painting your deck.
I did, and I went to get paint. And I'm leaving Home Depot now.
So
Yeah.
Mark D'Antonio, of course. Mark, you're gonna know how cryptically I say this, but based on what you told me, is that something you're willing to talk about? Or no?
I've told you a lot of things.
Well, oh shit! Related to the telescopes.
Oh, and the new locations? The
Yes.
potential new location?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's actually not. I'm just not gonna say where it is yet.
Okay, so we
But-
can talk. I want to mention that tonight. Well, during the recording. About.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
But I
can.
Go ahead.
No, I can say as much as I can about that.
All right. Also, I know you want to focus on one thing, but I really want to go after this armada or object that was picked up by James Webb 10 light years away, changing direction, and they're saying it's some kind of a spaceship heading this way. I definitely want to attack that.
Okay, I don't. Yes, we can talk about that.
Because I'm going to also tie it into Oumuamua.
It won't be a long conversation about that particular item, by the way.
I know,
so
but you also had something you wanted to bring up. Didn't you?
I think I did, and I'm not sure what it was. I mean,
oh my
I'm
God!
filming
I don't know
tomorrow
if it was
for
a
A&E,
star
so-
system. It was something to do with a star system. I can't remember the name of it now. Oh my God! But you said I really want to talk about this when we do
Okay,
it.
I don't remember what I said, unfortunately.
All right. Well, we'll just cover it. We'll cover whatever.
Yeah, that's good.
Because there's plenty to talk about anyway.
Yeah, and I won't be doing the show tonight.
I know.
I haven't had a chance to write because of this, and I don't have to prepare to be on your show,
No.
but so that's good. If you don't know what you're talking about, you shouldn't go on shows. That's how I feel.
Well, like I said, didn't you say Proxima? There was something that you said you wanted to talk about. That you said, okay, we'll talk about that.
Oh! There was one that said there were lights seen on Proxima Centauri by the James Webb Telescope.
That's it.
Yeah, and that is just a bunch of crap. But we can cover that.
That's what I'm saying. I want to cover I don't you know me. I don't want to just come out and simply debunk things, but I'm going to emphasize the conversation how science is important when you're doing research and collecting data, and we need evidence.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You don't actually need to create a sensationalized story, right? Not you, but I mean people.
Mhm.
Don't need to create a sensational story. Just knowing the science and what it's showing us is sensational enough.
Exactly.
I mean, the James Webb Space Telescope did detect dimethyl sulfide in the atmosphere of an exoplanet, light years away. And what's that? What does that mean? I mean, so what? Who gives a
Life.
shit what that is, right? Well, dimethyl sulfide, we know very well. You know very well. You've smelled it. every time you've gone to the ocean, because we call it the smell of the sea. It's actually the smell of the debris left behind by living things, and it's
Right.
only created by living things. So that tells you if you can identify dimethyl sulfide in an atmosphere, it means there's living things there.
So
Unequivocally.
here's how I don't even want, because I'm live still, but I don't want to like go
That's
over
all right.
a whole back of what we're gonna do for the show. But we're gonna talk about these outlandish claims that came out, but also then put it to the other perspective, and that's the real perspective, and that's the science, and how science can actually say that yes, look at this exoplanet over here. Now that
Right.
you know what I mean? And also, I want to
Yeah.
bring up your, to the viewers that may not know, that when you were doing the segment with Darcy, Transmedium, the USO stuff,
Yeah.
and, you know, the life, it may not be coming from another planet or galaxy or our Milky Way or interdimensional. They may be already be here under our oceans.
Yeah, it could be originally extraterrestrial, but have been here for thousands of years.
Exactly. Now,
And the thing is, all you have to do is observe the human race from any vantage point you have the technology to do so, and you'll notice that they are not easy to get along with. They are argumentative, they're combative, they're still in that primitive state where they want to, surround themselves with all their toys and not let anyone else play. I mean,
yep.
it's really a difficult species. So the fact that we're surviving is testament to the fact that we can come down to earth, so to speak, and be civil about things. But it's not all the time that we do.
Right.
I mean, all you have to do is look at people dying in Ukraine right now. Yep. Look at people dying in Israel right now. Yep. Why are they throwing these things at these people and killing these other organic creatures in this location? What's going on? I don't want to talk to them.
I agree, but you know what? Right? Also, people don't realize how our subs and some of our submersibles can only go so deep.
I know. Oh yeah.
There's so much of the ocean that's unexplorable because it's just so deep.
Think about how Titan, the Titan sub from Ocean Gate, imploded, killing all those people, the 5 people on board. Okay, and they were supposed to be tourists, and so you want to be a tourist, you could die, and they did. They were obliterated in literally 3 milliseconds when this submarine imploded rather on the ocean floor near the Titanic. So obviously we're not good at going deep in the ocean unless we really, really spend a lot of money to develop good vehicles like Alvin, okay, like the Mears, like the Nautiles from France, all right?
Mark.
Jim Cameron's deep dive. I mean, all these things were created to go very deep in the ocean. They weren't created to just sit on the surface. But the amount of time and money and technology that's invested in making that happen is immense.
Yeah, that's the problem too.
Yeah. So we're not. Okay. Here's a way to look at it. You have the floor in your house where you're sitting on the ceiling, right? Okay. If you compare that to be the average depth of the ocean from your floor to your ceiling, we go about an inch below the top of your ceiling.
Yep.
That's how far we get to go down.
That's a point I want to emphasize because people don't realize how much is undiscovered in our oceans. That's
right. Yeah. And, we're discovering other things too. Like a study came out showing that there's more life underground on our planet, likely on our planet, than there is in all the oceans and in all the land.
That's
life.
Intense.
That's the latest thing. Okay. Now if that turns out to be true, because there could be pockets of massive amounts of life and there could be places where you don't have much at all. But if that turns out to be 100% correct, then we've been living on a fully misunderstood world.
Can I ask you a question? And I know you got to go because I got to go end the stream and get ready to meet you.
I'm driving, so I'm on my way home.
Is there anything that could be underground that could be a source of light, almost even photosynthesis, or however it's said, that can actually... Correct. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're asking if photosynthetic creatures like we have, like plankton in the ocean, could live underground in some way? Is there some kind of
Right.
source of photosynthetic light
Process. Yes.
that would allow for creation of energy by a creature underground? Because that's what they use. They use the sunlight to convert the sun's light into sugars to live. Well, not necessarily,
Okay.
but may not be necessary, because at the deep ocean hydrothermal vents, they have a
Yes. I was
sulfite
going to bring that up.
chimneys,
Yep.
also known as the black smokers, they call them. Okay, those have a huge amount of life. Giant clams, the size of a foot and a half across, shrimp, crustaceans of all kinds, crabs, tube worms, things that were never seen before. They exist around these chimneys, and they aren't photosynthetic.
Right.
They're a different process. They use chemosynthesis, chemical synthesis, to create the capability to provide sustenance and continuance for life.
All right. So if we were to discover huge pockets, even not even huge, but any pockets of water deep underground, and it has that process with vents that can have that water at a certain temperature, forget about the light aspect, because light can still be created in that kind of environment, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure
You-
there's definitely pockets like that exist around on the Earth.
Well, think of it this way here. Okay, infrared energy is light. It's just light we can't see. It's
Right.
heat. So
Right.
it is a radiation. It's a radiated electromagnetic signal. Okay, heat is just that, and people don't understand that. They think heat is something different from light. It's not. It's just light we can't see. So that's a radiation that certain creatures might be able to absorb and utilize. In fact, we know they do. And so there's bacteria that love the 900 degree Fahrenheit black mineral laden water that's percolating up from these chimneys on the ocean floor in certain places. And they munch on it. They love it.
Mm-hmm.
They love all that stuff. And then there's the filter feeders that filter the bacteria and eat the bacteria. Those are like the tube worms.
And you brought up something earlier. It's incredible how we can use the Earth as a model to look at other planets or moons like Europa.
Exactly.
That could be going on in their oceans, deep ocean, the oceans underneath the ice sheet. And with the vents that are going on, it could be doing exactly what's happening here on our planet.
Exactly so. And the thing is, at a different scale, perhaps, like on
Yeah.
Europa, it's 1,920 miles in diameter. Okay, you look underneath the ice mantle, the ice crust, basically, of Europa, and you have a slushy ocean that may give way to a very salty ocean all the way to the core. Okay, which might be rock. Now, because it's only 2,000 miles across, one of the things to understand is that means that you could go very deep in the European oceans. And if you do, you won't find that the European oceans will actually be very high pressure, like
Right.
going to the Titanic, where subs can implode. Okay, that may not be. What it might be is that you go deep in the European Ocean, and when you get down, literally, 4 miles into the ocean, the European Ocean, because the gravity is nowhere near the gravity on Earth.
Mm-hmm. The
Maybe
pressure.
that's a nice pressure for life to exist. And the temperature might be the water temperature down there. It's going to get warmer as you get near the center, because that's where the warmest part of the ocean is going to be. On Europa, okay, not on the Earth, but on Europa,
Mhm.
right? Because the European Ocean goes down to the outside core, the outer core of Europa, and so in that middle, you've got all kinds of warm water. All right, and that warm water is going to possibly sustain life.
Mm. Yep.
So
And what is the other
we
one?
could find
Enceladus. What's the other moon?
Enceladus, around Saturn.
Yeah, so we'll delve into the science. I want to get into the science because
we can do that.
could have right in our own solar system. There's ample possibilities of having life right here.
Yeah, don't forget Mars. Okay,
That's right.
Don't leave out Mars. Okay, because underneath the south pole of Mars, now Mars is on the surface. It's a dead world. There's ice all over Mars, water ice, and there's carbon dioxide ice, because Mars is actually very cold. It can get 100 below zero in some places, right? But Mars being so cold also means that there's other possibilities for water because there's so much water on Mars. It's just hard as granite near the
Nothing.
surface.
Mark, I didn't hear anything you said, but they did. Warren
I was just
called.
saying that Mars has lots of water, and under the south pole of Mars, this is the part I didn't say it yet.
Yes.
There's a massive reservoir of actual liquid water that's been identified with a orbital radar, and it's liquid water underneath Mars because of the pressure of the rock strata. Because water being liquid is the result of several things, right? You're either going to have water vapor, you're either going to have ice, or you're going to have liquid water. Well, liquid water requires higher pressure to exist. Mars is at that place where it's literally almost at the point where it could have liquid water, but it's a self-balancing system. I won't get into how, but the point being, Mars liquid water could exist if the pressure was a little higher, and the place the pressure is higher is underground. The weight, the Martian weight of that rock overhead can press on that rock strata, and it can actually be enough pressure to allow liquid water to be there. So they did a study trying to find if there's liquid water. And lo and behold, there's a large reservoir. It's about a mile underneath the South Polar Cap, and it's a large reservoir of liquid water. Now, it might be briny or salty, right? But it's what it is right now. It's what's there. So, again, even Mars has prospects we never imagined.
Okay, cool.
Mark.
Yeah.
Now we're live. We're unmuted. Warren. Warren wants to say hello.
Warren, hey, what's
What
up?
up, Mark? How are
Hey,
you?
Warren.
He said, "What's up?"
Hey, I'm just about to do a little show with Toby here in a little while.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Painting a
It's gonna
deck.
be good.
Yeah, I'll be in Arizona end of the month to November 12th, working on the observatory that we exist now, and we're going to be looking at a new location to put telescopes in that we've sort of secured, and it's actually the professional location where they've got lots of other telescopes. So it's going to be kind of cool to be in a family of other telescopes.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Maybe I'll try and make it down to Arizona.
I think you should, man. Because
I
at
think
least at this
I
new
think you should
location,
too,
I can
Warren.
bring you over anytime.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
All
And then,
right, I'll let you guys get back at it. I was just calling to say what's up. So, what's up?
all right, man. Yeah,
All right,
what's
Warren.
up, brother?
Give me a buzz later tonight, this afternoon, if anything comes up that you remember.
All right, you too.
Later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Warren.
All right, so let's get the heck off because now Toby's probably waiting for me. I got to end this stream. I got to get ready to meet you in StreamYard. So let's
Yeah,
get
I'm
ready.
going to be home just in time, I think. So,
All right, do your thing. I'll meet you in there because Toby's probably waiting for me. Like now, it's already 12:46.
hey, he's like, "Where's Mr. Bill?
Yeah, where are we?
Where's Mr. Bill? Where's
All right.
Mark with a C?"
All right, Mark, I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, later on.
All righty.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Trying to get this. There we go. He hung up. All right, I need to go. It's time to talk some science with the man. Anyway, everybody, have a great rest of your